Good, go.
Today I will discuss how positive discipline can be used in place of punishment to help children become successful in life. The difference between discipline and punishment is the technique. Punishment is something that is imposed on the child, often with negative connotations, while discipline is simply training the child positively to behave in a manner which is beneficial and socially acceptable. Positive discipline can be used by parents and teachers to help a child modify their behavior. The use of positive discipline in place of punishment can provide the child with the necessary tools to develop self-discipline, cooperation, problem-solving skills, and responsibility. When a child possesses these characteristics, they feel more confident. A child who misbehaves is not a bad child. They are simply misguided as to how to find their sense of significance and belonging in the world. They have not become confident in their ability to fit in with the skills they've learned. Punishment will work as a short-term solution to misbehavior. It can also cause problems later because of what it reinforces in the child. Punishment teaches rebellion, submissiveness through fear, and also fosters development of low self-esteem. As a long-term solution to problematic behavior, it will fail because it teaches a child what not to do instead of what to do. Discipline helps teach the child what to do by teaching responsibility, cooperation, and problem-solving skills. Positive discipline can be a solution for frustrated parents and educators who seek an alternative to the spanking, yelling, shame-based, and counterproductive disciplines of the past. While punishment does work in the respect that it stops the immediate behavior, the ultimate goal of raising a well-balanced, positive, successful child may be an unattainable one at best when using these techniques for behavior modification. When punishment is used, the child learns to despise the punisher, not the behavior that they chose. Dr. Jane Nelson states that research shows children who experience a great deal of punishment become either rebellious or fearfully submissive. These are the long-term consequences of the punishment. Positive discipline functions on the essential belief that children be treated with dignity and respect. Positive discipline opens up the communication process between parent and child. The parent explains why the behavior is unacceptable and what the consequences are or will be. This creates predictability. Punishment systems do not create any communication pathways for the parent and the child, or any predictability for the child to learn from. The parent decides that something is offensive or knows that the action may have a drastic consequence, then decides how the situation should be handled, and gives no reasoning or advice for the child to learn from. The child is having the whole process decided for him. He is taught to change behavior that is unacceptable, but he is not taught why. The why may be failure, pain, embarrassment, or any number of consequences. The child is not taught to learn from his mistakes. He is taught that by making a mistake, which is natural to all human beings, it's a bad thing. He is not taught that a mistake is an opportunity to learn. By opening up communication pathways between the adult and the child through class or family meetings, his voice is given the acceptance which he desires. By meeting frequently and consistently, children are given a forum that they believe will be a reliable one to express their problem, be responsible for their part in the problem, and use cooperation with their parents, teachers, and other students to develop solutions to the problem they may be having. Each person at the meeting has a voice. Each person at the meeting has the cooperation of the other participants to help with ideas for solving the problem. Hearing others voice their opinions on a particular matter at hand will help the child to see where their blame may lie in creating or contributing to the problem. Having others contribute their suggestions for solutions will help the child develop their creative and critical thinking skills. Adults can help foster these thinking skills by having a responsive, accepting attitude. By establishing communication channels and boundaries, children then acquire the ability to predict the consequences for their actions. Positive discipline has been used in homes and classrooms to change children's behavior and is more effective in the long term than punishment. At a local school in 2006, a positive discipline program was implemented because of the behavior problems that were becoming disruptive to the learning environment. Teachers and parents worked together to develop a program that clearly defined the expectations of the students. Classroom meetings were held in all classrooms weekly so the class as a whole could learn to work together. Each child had a voice at these meetings, which helped to foster a sense of belonging. Children were taught their expectations by using stations that were set up throughout the school. Acceptable behavior was clearly defined, and consequences were discussed. When children were witnessed complying, they were rewarded with treasure tickets. Individual as well as classroom treasure tickets were distributed. Individual tickets could be redeemed for pencils, erasers, small pieces of candy, and larger treasure items such as lunch with the principal or even tickets to a baseball game. Classroom tickets could be redeemed for extra recess, pizza parties, and even ice cream parties. Through this system, children who may not have complied before were now complying to gain the tickets. When a child is not enticed to comply with the tickets, a more individualized plan is constructed for that child based on his needs. A daily goal is set and monitored on an hourly basis with the reward of points that could be redeemed for more personal rewards to help inspire that change. Since its inception, discipline referrals have dropped from 2,256 to 1,165 in just 3 short years. Punishment is less effective than positive discipline when trying to correct misbehavior. Punishment reinforces negative behavior by teaching rebellion, submissiveness through fear, and fostering low self-esteem. It is not successful in the long term for behavior modification because it teaches a child what not to do instead of teaching them what to do. When positive discipline is used, children learn responsibility for their actions and also how to cooperate with adults. The child who feels a sense of belonging is less likely to exhibit misbehavior. Positive discipline takes time, patience, and determination to implement, but the long-term benefits to parents, teachers, and children outweigh hardships that may be incurred.
Besides the drop in referrals, what other changes have occurred at this school?
There have been less classroom disruptions. Teachers are able to refer children who have misbehavior issues to a behavior aid, which allows the teachers the time to teach instead of correcting the behavior problem. There's also a more positive attitude throughout the whole school.
What is discussed between the students and the teacher in in classroom meetings?
That would depend on when the meetings are held. Some teachers prefer to hold the meetings at the beginning of the week to discuss the planned events for the week. I think that this helps the children because then they're aware of what subjects they're going to be covering and what projects they'll be doing. If they have any questions, they can ask at that time. Some teachers prefer to hold the meetings midweek to address any concerns that may have been brought to light since the beginning of the week, and I think that's helpful too.